In other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion.
Damn.
But fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans?
Yeah, facts.
The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections.
Wow.
The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Well, the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, has announced plans to claw back the $188 billion in student loan forgiveness granted under Joe Biden. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, she writes, quote, debt doesn't go away. It gets transferred to others. If borrowers don't pay their debts to the government, taxpayers do. America's Newsroom co-anchor and the 5 co-hosts, Dana Perino, one of those people, also a taxpayer, joins us right now.
Yes, believe me, taxpayer.
Well, remember when this all happened, it looked like Joe Biden was trying to buy the votes of young people who had outstanding student loans. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
But it cost all of us.
So it was a COVID-era policy. It's time for it to go away.
Right.
What she announced yesterday, and in the Wall Street Journal piece today that I thought was very good, is that the gravy train is over. And also remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said, Joe Biden doesn't have the legal authority to do this. They tried to do it anyway. The courts kept pushing it back. So they had false hopes, false promises to people. And I understand the student loan debt can be a burden. It doesn't mean that the system shouldn't be changed or that the interest rate couldn't be lowered. But they are going to have to pay it back. Nobody helped somebody that bought an F-150 as a plumber pay that bill.
Right.
And none of us should have to. They pay their bills. Everyone should pay their bills. It doesn't mean the system can't be reformed.
Here's what she writes. I have another hard truth for the institutions that made empty promises to students while pocketing their loan dollars. Colleges and universities call themselves nonprofits, but for years they have profited massively off the federal subsidy of loans, hiking tuition and piling up billion-dollar endowments while students graduate 6 figures in the red.
Right. So more truth in advertising is good. Better decision making is also good. The other thing that she says is that they have set up more help to help figure out a way so that the payment can fit your budget. That has to come true. They have to be able to answer the phone and get answers for that. Hopefully that will work out. She's also using artificial intelligence to help make that happen.
No kidding. Yeah. Call somebody. All right. Listen. This is going to be the #1 book in the world as of later today. Dana's
in this morning's Money Moment, if you are in default on your student loans, this story is for you. The Education Department could begin collecting payments by garnishing your wages to collect on that money. Now, the Education Department made that announcement Monday, saying they could start collecting loan money starting May 5th. That's in less than 2 weeks. The involuntary collection will be done through the Treasury Department's offset program that pulls back delinquent debts by withholding payments such as tax refunds, federal salaries, and Social Security benefits. More than 5 million borrowers are in default, and 4 million more could be in the same position in a few months. Less than 40% of borrowers are current on their student loan payments, according to the department. So what's next? You'll receive an email informing you of the next steps to take and urging everyone to look into their repayment options. Wage garnishing notices will be sent out as early as this summer. Now, if you remember, former President Joe Biden had attempted to wipe out student loan debt across the country, but eventually the courts ruled that he misled borrowers about his actual authority to be able to take such an action. In the same announcement, the department added there will not be any mass loan forgiveness at any point in the near future. So again, the next step is you should look for an email, and that will guide you on what your options are. I'm Brianna Boudreau, and that's your Monday Moment on this Tuesday morning.
I've got a question though. So like they had like the income-driven repayment plan. Are they getting rid of that?
No, I don't think they are.
Because I think that was a good thing, me personally.
Yeah, no, I do too.
I
think they said they're keeping that.
Yeah, you
it's
gotta
just
have
the
a
people
payment
who
plan.
aren't paying at all.
It's on a payment plan, but they had one that's based off people's income. So
Yeah.
I
like,
think he said they're gonna continue that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what they said.
They said they're gonna
did
continue.
that.
You gotta do that.
well,
Yeah,
they
you
said
gotta do that.
they're gonna put it in the payment plan. Is they still gonna do the income-driven repayment
Yes.
plan?
I think
Yeah.
it's for
They
the
just
people who
said
said
that,
4
though.
out of 10 aren't making any payments at all right now.
That's insane.
So they gotta get those people who aren't making
That
any
is
payments
insane.
to start making.
I don't
some
know,
payments.
man.
I agree, man. You can't take out a loan, bro. America's a bank. You asked another bank for a loan, so how you gonna ask another bank?
We giving
to
out
repair
loans to
that
other
loan?
countries. We give out billions
ain't
of
doing
dollars
that
to
no
other
more.
countries. Yes, we are. I'm just saying, like,
They
if we're
are
gonna,
allies.
I don't understand why people.
They are allies.
Okay, these American citizens.
I know, but at the same time, you ask for a loan to go to school. So should America have?
I'd rather see.
That's like doing free school at that point.
I don't want.
You
I mean,
do have
School
to-
free?
It isn't fair.
Listen. I understand the non-fairness, but like, if they gonna say, "Oh, we can't give money to forgive this money for people," why are we still sending money to foreign countries? I'd
They're
rather see.
allies.
I'd rather see money to go to American citizens than see a penny go to another country. I don't care what country
Yeah,
it
but
is.
we
I
gotta
don't care
do that,
who
though.
the
We gotta
ally
do
is.
that. We
I'm
gotta
just keeping
do
it
that.
100.
We
No,
gotta
we
do
don't
that.
have to do that. We don't have to do that. I'm
seems
just keeping it
like-
100.
I mean, that's-
As an American taxpayer, I'd rather see my tax dollars go to something like this than give a penny to a foreign country
Yeah,
that
but
I've
it's a
never been
broken
to
promise,
and I
though.
would never
It
go
can't
to.
happen.
That's just my
It can't
opinion.
happen.
I see the
That's
point.
always been my stance. People in the comments,
No, but it can't happen.
I don't care.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think
Like
what I
that.
think.
So we should have free school.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying free
Yeah.
school, but
That's
I'm just
basically
saying.
saying that.
Okay, but I'd rather see tax dollars go to this than go to a foreign country. Period.
But that's not gonna happen though.
That's just what I'm
But
saying.
But they tried to make the tax dollars go to it, and they failed.
Oh yeah, it failed for sure. But
So
I'm
it's
just
like- it's
saying, if
impossible
I had
for
to pick where my money goes, I'd rather see it go to something like this.
Wait, look.
But it's
What-
gonna fail still.
I'm just saying, if I had to pick.
Well,
But also, I am like.
I don't care about any other
I feel
country.
bad because I know a lot of people who are in a lot of student loan debt, so I do feel really bad for them. But at the same time, I do see the point to where it isn't fair to the other people who already paid their student loans, or people who paid for school, So
I agree. I agree with
see
that as
point,
well.
but I do feel bad for them. So I wish there was some. I don't know.
Like,
but
it's like we fund the
You did
government.
take out a loan knowing that you will
Yeah,
have to repay that.
Exactly.
Facts.
So taxpayers
Facts.
You know
are
you
going
gotta
to have
pay
to
it
pay.
back.
They're
Okay.
going to pay for that.
But
Well, I
some
mean,
people
if-
probably
if-
believe they probably didn't have to pay it back because of Joe Biden.
If
So-
the income-driven repayment plan is still
That's
a
why
thing,
Joe wrong for that.
if that's still a thing, I don't see that this is a bad
Yeah,
thing.
it is.
If they
It's
get
still
rid
a
of the
thing.
IDR and they just start charging
You can't
people
do
based
that.
off how much they, yes, they can.
I mean,
That's
you
a Joe
can.
Biden thing. Joe Biden put that in place.
No, I'm
They
saying
saying they're
though-
getting rid of that.
No, that's what they
No,
keeping
they
that.
did not say that. They're keeping that.
The budget.
They
They
are
just
going
said we
to
heard
keep
it.
that. So you make $4,000 a month. Oh, we're going to take $2,000 a month.
They do it. They do it based on what you
They're
make
not gonna
though.
do that. They're going
Like,
to. Yeah,
if you
I know,
make
that's what I'm saying.
if you make less, they'll take
we'll
less.
take 300. It's just no. That's just too far. And I think that's based off also who you got the loan from. Would it not be?
Yeah, a lot of them come from the Department of Education or like a private loan. If you got a private loan, you got to pay that back.
Yeah.
A lot of the loans that they're talking about are the ones under the Department of Education. Yeah, it says it right here. It
They're
says,
getting rid of that.
the income-driven repayment plans under the Trump administration is uncertain, with
They said
significant
they're gonna
changes already underway that suggest a restrictive approach. Based on available information, here's a breakdown. The Trump administration has made moves that impact the IDR plans. In February 2025, the Department of Education temporarily removed online applications for all IDR, which is the income-based repayment,
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out another way to do it, but they're going to do it. 'cause that's-
following the
They,
eighth
they
circuit.
said, but they did say on this video
They're
they was
gonna
gonna
do
keep that specific thing.
All right. It says the administration has signaled further restrictions. A court filing on April 8th, 2025 indicated by May 10th, married borrowers filing separate tax returns will have spousal income included in the IDR repayment calculations. Damn. Potentially increasing monthly payments significantly for some.
Potentially. I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't know.
That's impossible.
But that's different than
I mean, it's not impossible,
the
but
income based.
All right,
they're
it
gonna
says
have an income
it
base.
says IDR plans are still in effect as of April 22nd, 2025, but with limitations. The income-based repayment plan appears the most secure as it was congressionally authorized, unlike
we go.
newer plans created through regulatory processes. However, the administration's actions suspending applications, revising terms, and signaling spousal income suggest the IDR plans will persist in a diminished form. Oh, okay. Well, if as long as that's still in place, I don't see this as a bad thing. Because personally, when I look at how people was crippled by student loan debt, I'm like, okay, that was something that will help you lift the burden while still paying it back. So to me, looking at it, I thought that was a good thing.
It is a good thing. Everybody knows that.
When I saw this initially, I thought they were getting rid of that, which I thought was a bad thing for Americans. Considering the fact that a lot of Americans are struggling, I don't think adding more struggle to that plate was a good thing. But if it's still in effect, I think that's a net positive.
No, it's because they said 4 out of 10 aren't making any payments at all.
Joe Biden,
so almost 40% of them are not making any payments. You know, you got to make some payments. You did take out the loan. I'm sorry that you did
happens.
that. You might have got tricked.
Joe Biden sold us a dream like the immigrants. That's literally what happened. Because I remember during 2020, that's literally the only thing I heard. All I heard was blah, 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 blah.
Imagine
Student loan debt.
Here it says right here. It says a complete elimination of the income-driven repayment would require congressional action, which experts deem unlikely in the near term due to legal and political hurdles. That said, the administration's rhetoric and conservative policy alignment point to continued efforts to scale back these programs. So they're gonna try to scale them back.
I can see that.
Damn, it says some borrowers' payments have went from $200 to $500 and from $1,800 to $5,000 due to the suspension of IDR options. See, I think that's a bad thing, me personally.
I do too.
Reports indicate some borrowers have seen payments soar. Some went from $200 to $500 and some went from $1,800 to $5,000 due to suspension of the income-driven payment plan options or forced switches to standard repayment plans. See, I think that's a bad thing.
No, I think so too.
I see shit like
Everybody
that. I'm against that, me personally.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I'm got to be.
Like I just think that things that put Americans in worse situations, I can't support. Now, do I think people should pay their loans back? Yes. This to me was a way for people to pay their loans back. That's why I was in support of it.
Yeah, everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody listening is. That's why I don't think that they're gonna do that.
So now they're resuming involuntary collections on student loans. All that time that the loans were frozen, that was the time where the hackers needed to get into the system and erase all of the student loans, genuinely. Because how are they going to be dismantling the Department of Education, but they want everyone to pay back their student loans? But you're dismantling the whole system that the student loans are in. But we're not going to get rid of those student loans. You're still going to have to pay them. Of course, they're going to make everyone pay their student loans, even if they actually got rid of the Department of Education fully. Of course, they're still going to want that money. It's just actually fucking diabolical.
So they're saying they're going to start garnishing wages for student loans.
She stuttered.
Was adulthood this scary for our parents? Or is this
scarier probably?
Is this a unbelievably scary time?
They could do more with less back then.
Or adulthood been this?
Now, I know we stand as tall and strong on not doing a goddamn thing, but in a minute, we finna have to lean forward. They talking about garnishing what for who? Come May 5th, they talking about garnishing checks for fucking student loans. Mecca, do you see what you have done? Now, it's over 5 million people already in debt for student loans. We were protected during Biden run. They're lifting that protection and making us pay. So, we can, switch that direct deposit to checks and just, because they gonna have to come get it in blood. Pick back up the winter boots. I know it's springtime, but it is what it is. Taking out y'all poor decisions that y'all made going into this 2025 project on us, and now just trying to make us go down with you? Because the terrorists off the bat was the horrible move. The Pope didn't pass from seeing JD. But y'all paying Katie $60 million to go motherfucking lie about being in space. Y'all love a good distraction before the bullshit.
They can't garnish this cash. They gonna have to come get it back in blood.
Noticing the pattern.
They done got us. They done got us. This time,
noticing.
Y'all woke me up.
I'm noticing.
Everything else was a joke, but this here,
credit score too.
You got me this time.
I know as the 92%, we're supposed to just not do nothing. We're just supposed to sit back and let Trump supporters find out. But when are we gonna step in exactly? Because now they finna garnish our checks. They finna garnish our checks for these student loans. So I just want to know, what's the plan? What we finna do? Are we just gonna sit back and not do nothing for real?
Bro,
That new student loan update.
You gotta do this like this.
Talking about y'all gonna start garnishing wages. Let me tell you something. I left student debt with the higher power
This is crazy.
a long time ago.
Come on, bro.
Can't get a
Left it
different
with
person.
God.
I know, bro. Just one or two.
This, let me tell y'all something. They want to keep us poor so bad.
It's a long.
They want to keep us in debt so bad. People can barely afford mortgages, rent, any other bills that they have. Barely fucking surviving, and you want to start collecting on a student debt that ain't nobody worried about.
What are we doing? Are we robbing banks? Please tell me before I have to get another job. And this is really pissing me off because I'm engaged and like how I'm supposed to pay for a wedding and I gotta pay for student loans. How I'm supposed to buy a house and I have to pay for student loans. It's either you save for a down payment or you pay off all your student loans first. And nobody wants to stay in a high expensive apartment for life. Like they know exactly what they're doing. And we gotta stick together. We gotta come up with a plan because I'm not about to do this.
We're gonna have to do that.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of their feelings are valid.
It is. No.
But you had to have known at some point you're gonna have to pay
Now,
them back.
if you're gonna-
like realistically speaking,
Now,
you gotta know
if we're
you're
talking
gonna have
about
to pay
2
them.
times, 3 times more, that is a problem. Everybody knows that. I don't think that's gonna happen at all. But if it does, then we'll just face it, and we know that's a
So
problem.
people was just taking money back out, thinking that it's going to be free.
I gotta keep it 100.
see, not everybody got that.
had to have known that they was gonna take that shit.
Not everybody got their loans forgiven. They
Even
barely
the
happened.
people,
I don't know. I don't know.
Everybody didn't get their loans forgiven.
I don't know anybody who got their loans forgiven, but I do know people who benefited from the income-driven repayment, which is
Yes.
why I'm in support of that.
Me
Because,
too. Everybody is.
I
I'm pretty
mean,
sure everybody.
I think that's
She
a good
was.
thing. And you
Lady
know,
on
the
Fox
thing
was.
about the IDR is people don't understand it stretches your payment out from, because technically when you're on a student loan repayment, they charge you to pay them off in 10 years. That's why people's payments are high. So under the IDR, it stretches it to 20 to 25 years. So that's why it takes the payment down lower.
See, it wasn't just all black people, bro.
We didn't even do
No,
him.
it was the
We didn't even do him.
LGBTQ, the gays and blacks.
The Democrat supporters.
Yeah, but anyways.
That was Biden's base right
Hey,
there.
he got me
Kamala's
with that, though.
base.
He got me. I promise you, bro. I was listening to it. I don't know why. It was
Then
just
you
on
took
my
a loan
feed.
out because of that.
And I heard, hell no. I'm just saying I heard he was gonna take student loan debt, and I was like, oh, hey, we rocking with Joe Biden.
You ain't even vote.
I know, but I was on the team though.
So you thought
slightly?
I didn't think at all they was gonna let loans be forgiven.
Listen,
Well, you was
I knew
smart,
that was
Josh.
gonna be tough because
Nigga,
of
when
how
anybody
much
give you
money.
just free money.
Yeah, bro. I don't
You
know.
know how much money
all
they
the people who already paid
that's
theirs.
$5,000 free. You
But
think
we
they
gotta
just
keep
gonna
it
every
100
semester
though.
$5,000?
We gotta
for
keep
free?
it 100
Hold
though.
on, though. Did y'all see the people who having a baby? What Trump trying to do? He trying to give every woman who has a baby 5 bands.
Yeah, I mean,
They
there's,
ain't talk about
And
that.
it's
though.
gonna be in their
I,
taxes.
I don't think that's
Nigga,
really.
you got 5 bands.
I don't really think that's like a great. Sorry, I'm like coughing or burping some shit. I don't know. I don't really think that's like a great solution
I think it'll
like,
help.
but like, because a lot of
Wait,
women in
it's not a
today's
solution,
economy have to work and they don't have maternity leave. They don't
Hold on,
have
though.
all these
So, if
things.
But so
so it's
throwing
like
5 bands is a help. That's
No, it's not, though.
It's not gonna help.
no.
How's
That
that?
can do a lot.
Nigga, you gonna miss 9 months of work to carry the baby for 5
You're not gonna miss
bands?
9 months.
Wait, what do you mean?
You got to carry the baby. Then when the baby's born, who gonna take care of it?
I'm not understanding
So
what
you
you're
gonna be out of work
He
for
don't think
months.
that's a good thing.
I don't.
Wait, so
I do.
Wait, what is the con of this?
Because so you get 5 bands to have a baby,
Okay.
but you gotta miss more than 5 bands to take off work to take care
You
of the
was gonna miss
baby.
that 5 bands anyway.
Then you gotta pay
But you
for.
wasn't gonna get
Then you gotta
none
pay
right
for a
now.
babysitter.
You're not gonna get none right now.
That's
Have
what
a
happens when
baby.
you have
That's
a
why
baby,
people
though.
aren't
So
having
how long it's
babies.
going to help?
That's why people aren't having babies.
It's
Because it's cheaper to not have a baby. 5
So you
bands
think-
gonna motivate people to have a baby.
We're saying that
What
if
5
you do
bands
have
gonna do?
the baby, it's gonna help. Not,
Yeah.
oh, I'm happy to have a baby because I get a free 5 bands.
Okay, well,
Exactly.
some people who want to have babies will benefit, but people who not having babies because it's too expensive to have babies will not be motivated to have a baby
That's
for
not
5 bands.
No. Yeah.
That's why
Oh,
they're
that's what you're
that's
saying.
why
Okay,
they're
yeah.
offering the 5 bands
But it
to
will help
motivate people
people.
to have a baby.
Well, that shouldn't motivate
I
you.
think it'll help
That,
people,
that's
yeah, but I don't think
that's
it should,
literally
yeah.
the
No,
reason
it's
they're
not.
offering that.
Well, that's not a good reason.
I agree.
But I agree with it though because
Do I
think
think
mothers, like you just said,
Can I go get my
Americans
5?
helping American mothers.
No. From
That's what we got to
from that
do.
perspective, I do
Probably
think it's a
not.
good thing. But the reason they're offering it is to motivate people to get married and have babies.
I don't think
Do
that's
I think
what
that's
it
something that is a good motivator to have babies? Hell no. Because the reason people not having babies right now is because it's too expensive.
And it's
That's a
really
fact.
also it's
Right.
because of the left and their ideologies, how they push. That's where they got all the single cat ladies, and you know. It's
I mean,
a lot
yeah.
of-
But
Right,
I think that plays a factor.
about how we shouldn't have thought we were just gonna get free money. But you know,
Misogyny,
we the
yeah,
same group of
you know what
community
they
that
say.
think that we gonna get reparations. So it makes sense. Student loan free. We just think anything free.
Yeah, see,
You know, so
it
that
says
makes sense.
a 5,000 baby bonus to boost the population. So it's supposed to
I'm with it,
motivate
man.
people to have babies.
Maybe
I wouldn't because I feel like the mothers in America could use
It
it.
costs $10,000 to $18,000 to have a baby, and baby expenses range from $1,100 to $2,500 monthly, not including rent.
Right, so that's not gonna change. So if that's
Wow.
the price, we might as well throw them a 5 to help with that, because that's what it's gonna
I don't
be
know.
right now.
I just think the cost of having a baby outweighs that 5 bands.
But
in
that's
my
what I'm saying. You
personal
don't
opinion.
have it for the 5 bands.
I'm just saying though.
But if it was a little bit more,
It's just to help you out.
yeah, it just
if
to
it
help
I'm
was
you
just
out.
15
saying,
It give you
bands,
some wiggle
Because
room.
all them prices, like you
I'm
said,
just
people are
saying,
still gonna have a
though.
baby.
If
and
it
then-
was 15
if they can
bands,
choose to have the help or not have the help,
it was
they gonna
Listen,
take that 5
do
bands.
I think the 5 bands is cool? Yes, but the reason people are not having babies is because it's too expensive. So, do I think 5 bands
Fact.
makes it less expensive if
No,
it
I
costs
agree.
damn near 20 bands to have the baby in the hospital?
no, y'all both are right.
I think if the
I
cost of
don't.
living was lower, people would probably have more babies.
I agree.
I don't even know.
I think there's other factors outside of people
A lot
not
of
having
people don't
babies
wanna
that
have
well.
babies
marriage
because
rates
it's
are down
expensive.
too.
I
and
think
with the porn stuff, they said the more people are virgins. More men right now are virgins than like ever.
Guess how much a daycare is for a child a month?
A lot.
Probably like
$1,200.
Well,
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Makes
so
sense.
what 5 band gonna do? Get you 3 months?
Oh, yeah, no, I know. You know the 5 bands
Hey,
ain't gonna do nothing.
that's the hey. What you gonna get
We
right
can
now?
say
I just think
nothing.
I just logically think from a logical
That's
perspective.
better than nothing though.
That's not fixing anything. Yes, is it better than nothing? Yes, I agree. But do I think that's gonna fix the problem?
No.
No.
Well, he's trying to fix the economy, and as he's trying to do that,
Hey.
why he trying to do that?
But
Here's
if
this.
it was 15 bands, we was gonna see a lot of corruption, brother. It was gonna get
oh,
bad.
that was
out
for
here.
the.
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking
People
from
had
the
10
reason.
babies. Try to
Logical.
flip that little $100K.
Yeah, you have to
Bro.
pay. You're gonna have to pay taxes to get that 15,000.
But all right,
How many
guys.
people gonna do that?
Let us know what y'all think in the comments about this one, though.